On the surface, this game practically begs you to call it charming, and it drops you into a world painted in that gorgeous rubber hose animation style from the 1930s. You play as Jack Pepper, a classic private investigator with a trench coat, a fedora, and a whole world of problems. The cases start out simple enough, the usual Norse stuff you'd expect from a game starring a cartoon mouse. It's cozy, it's stylish, and I thought I was just settling in for a good old-fashioned detective story. A fun distraction, a cool art style. What if underneath all the cute bouncing animations and the snapping jazz sounds, this game is brutal and unflinching? This story isn't about finding a locket, it's about uncovering a vast, horrifying experience to seize power. It uses its adorable cartoon mice to tell a story. When you first step into the worn-out shoes of Jack Pepper, the game perfectly nails the classic Norse scene. Jack is your hard-boiled detective. He's a haunted war veteran who quit the police force because it was drowning in corruption. Now, he's a PI, scraping by on tiny cases, buried in gambling debt and hardened by a world that seems designed to chew him up and spit him out. The first few cases you take on feel approximately small time, really selling this image of a detective trying to make rent in a tough city. But even in these early hours, the game is laying in thematic background. The city of Mouseburg isn't just a backdrop, it's a character on its own, and is deeply unwell. You feel that sickness in the stark contrast between the city's districts. The wealthy elites are off to operas and exclusive theatres, their laughters echoing through the pristine bright-lit streets. Meanwhile, you spend your time in the alleys and working-class neighborhoods. The factories choke the sky with smoke, and laborers are just getting by. And then there are the shrews. Shrews are marginalized class, an entire species pushed to the fringe of society. They are physically restricted to parts of the city and treated with suspicion and contempt. You see shrews being harassed on the street corners, and you start to get the feel for the city's problems. This isn't just a city with a crime problem. Jack Pepper's tiny cluttered office is right in the heart of it all. Your first major case is what peels back the first layer of the rotten onion. It starts as a simple missing person case, but the people who are missing are shrews, and they're disappearing in droves. As you dig in, it becomes terrifyingly clear that this isn't random. This is organized, an operation. You discover that the disappearances are being orchestrated by a rising political party, Big Mouse Party. This isn't just a simple street gang. The setting is in 1934. Mouseburg is no accident. It's meant to directly mirror 1930s Europe, a time when fascism was on the rise. Big Mouse Party's agenda is chillingly simple. They want to seize the land owned by the shrew community. To do this, they've paid off corrupt police to arrest shrews on fake charges and hire cheeseleggers, this world's version of bootleggers, to transport them out of the city. It is, in no uncertain terms, a plot of ethnic cleansing for political and economical gain. In one unforgettable side mission, you walk out of your office to find a BMP member harassing a group of shrews. Once you see the BMP hand in the one conspiracy, you start seeing it everywhere. A new case lands on your desk, the high-profile assassination of Cornelius, running in direct opposition to the Big Mouse Party. You uncover evidence on the BMP, hire the operatives to carry out the hit. You manage to save Cornelius from the assassination attempt. This is where the game lands in the most devastating theme, the idea that solving individual cases is ultimately meaningless. As one of the analysts of the game brilliantly put it, the systems that created the conditions for that case still exist regardless. Every baddie you take down leaves a vacuum to be filled. You can arrest the hitman who pulled the trigger, but the Big Mouse Party, the organization that hired him, is still there. Investigation reveals the sheer scale of institutional rot. It's not just a few rogue cops. Entire precincts on the BMP payroll, organized crime figures who you might have thought were a separate problem, are actually working hand in glove with the party. Politicians, industrial leaders, and mob bosses are all moving together to consolidate the BMP. Jack Pepper can expose a single plot, but he can't seemingly dismantle the whole rotten structure by himself. The game forces you to confront a terrifying question. The game's climax is a quiet, horrifying moment of realization, in your dusty office staring at the evidence board as it all clicks into place. It's the moment you finally understand that all the major cases you've investigated, the ethnic cleansing of the shrews, the political assassinations, the web of organized crime, were all orchestrated by the Big Mouse Party as part of a single, monstrous strategy to achieve absolute control. And to make things even darker, you learn about the shadow groups operating behind the scenes, a mysterious cult of ideologies, calling themselves the scientists, are revealed to be collaborating with the BMP, running unethical experiments and pushing their own secretive agenda. It hammers home the game's overreactive theme of secrecy and a hidden power operating behind the scenes of society. This is when we finally confront Milford Sawyer. Sawyer engages in a final challenging boss fight with Jack. His role was never meant to be a hero. He exposed the full scope of the conspiracy, but the game deliberately ends on the note of the profound unease. The Big Mouse Party is exposed, but the system of power and the social prejudice that let them rise in the first place are all still there. The game leaves you with a chilling understanding that the battle is far from over. In fact, it might have only just begun.